Good morning, respected Minister Al-Alami, Minister of Industries, Investment, Trade and Digital Economy, respected Mr. Al-Almari, the President of the Regional Council of Tangier, Tetua Al-Asima, Mr. Sanjay Joshi, Chair of ORF, Mr. Madhubi, our new partner and President of the University of Rabat, the International University of Rabat, and friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for making this journey again and for making CyFy Africa possible in 2019. I am not going to take too much time in laying the agenda. You have 2 days to do that. But I just want to pick up a few threads from what was discussed last evening and which I think is important for all of us to consider. Ambassador Amandeep Gill mentioned that we need governance, we need rules, we need norms for managing the digital space. Let's think about the counterpoint. Are we reaching a time and a moment when we have too many rules and too many governments and too much governance of this space? I would argue that this space is more regulated than ever before. The Chinese have an elaborate architecture for managing the digital space. The Americans have their own version. The Europeans have come up with their own policy. And even India has come up with its own proposition to manage this digital space. So are we lacking governance, or are we seeing too much governance of this space? And I think that's the debate that must be had. The second issue that struck me from last evening and we must discuss over the next 3 days is the issue of identity. And I think Maya Aziz raised that issue. Who are we? Who are we connected to? Are we attached to the locality? Are we connecting to people far away? What is our religion? What is our culture? What is our custom? What should we wear? What should we eat? And I think technology is in many ways upending the old space and time equation that allowed all of us to create communities based on geographies. I think we are fast reaching what I would call the end of geography. Geographies are no longer important to create any form of connections and communities and movements. And we need to debate that. And certainly, Morocco is a space where geography has no meaning. It is a place rich in various cultures and civilizations and customs. And Morocco is a good place to discuss the 21st century idea of a post-geography human, of a post-geography settlement, of a post-geography being. The third issue that came to mind yesterday was the potential of this continent. And I think that was mentioned by Mr. Sanjay Joshi when he was briefing the media. And it struck me that even as this continent is the fastest growing region in the world, and it is in fact growth's new frontier, it is yet to find sufficient space in making rules for that growth, or rather, implicating the ethics of that growth. And can we, coming from diverse backgrounds, sit in this beautiful setting and discover the learnings from Africa that should affect and infect the way we grow, the way we conduct business, the way we engage, the way we interact, and the role of this continent. I think, in fact, it's time to stop talking about the Asian century. It is the Afro-Asian century, and Africa has to lead that. And Morocco certainly has a privileged position to be one of those that could do this. And finally, I think one of the biggest tensions of this time is that even as the internet connects, nationalism decouples. And we are seeing this play out now in the technology domain. I think it's not a trade dispute between America and China anymore. I think it is a decisive decision by the security communities, by the economic and finance communities to create their own regions of influence, own ways of managing trade and economy. And us, Africans and Asians who are growing at this time, it is dangerous for us to allow this face-off to continue or sustain. And we cannot be bystanders. We cannot sit and hope that Donald Trump and Xi Jinping, the two emperors of the world, will make the right decision. I think we have to intervene, and we have to ensure that we are propositional and we are able to put together a new order, new rules, new frameworks that allow globalization 2.0 to allow our people to grow, prosper, and achieve their aspirations and dreams. CyFy was started in 2013, and one of its primary goals was to ensure we have voices that have not been heard on the agenda, on the panels, on the discussions, on the keynotes that we host here. And CyFy Africa has taken that to its logical conclusion. I think we have 65 countries in this room. You will meet many people you have never met before. Certainly my European friends, I can promise you that every third person in the room is unknown to you, unlike the European conferences where it's a nice, cozy club. Meet them, partner with them, befriend them. And certainly one of the motives and motivations of the conference was to create these new friendships, partnerships, and networks that allow the world to be truly global and policy discussions and businesses to be transnational by design. With that, let me invite the first speaker this morning, Ilyas Alomari, President of the Regional Council of Tangier Tatua Al Hasima. He is, of course, the driving force and the energy behind this. Let me thank him and his team for making this happen once again this year. Mr. President, over to you.